morning, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful Wednesday here with us on Get It Got It Good. I am your host, Naja Wilhite. Sitting next to me, you will recognize Marcus Harris, which we'll get to him in a second. But today's show is jam-packed. We get to learn a little bit about the political race, elections, being a sheriff, as well as get some opinions based on that position, as well as learn about the individual as a human being, right? So today on Get It Got It Good, stay tuned with us. I would love your feedback on some of the videos that we're going to show today, some hot button questions and issues. And anytime you want to give a feedback or a comment, feel free to comment in the bottom of your screen if you're on Facebook, or send us a message, or even call in. So I appreciate you all being here with us today. So instead of me introducing Marcus Harris to you all, take a look at this video clip of him introducing himself. Hope you enjoy it.
First of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here tonight. My name is Marcus Harris. I am a lifelong Democrat running for the position of Howard County Sheriff. I am a retired police detective from Baltimore County. I did my last 5 years in Baltimore City working on a warrant apprehension task force, a regional task force. I've been a coach and a mentor in Howard County for over 10 years. I'm a successful businessman, and I've lived in Howard County for over 23 years. I feel that my training, knowledge, and experience as a police detective, my experience as a businessman, and my community service in Howard County more than qualify me for the position of Howard County Sheriff. I believe it's important that everyone knows that I didn't wake up one morning and decide to run for this position. I received a phone call from several members of the Sheriff's Department, and they asked me to run for this position, and I decided to take on the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back, you guys. So as you've seen in the video clip, I am sitting next to the historical, because you will be in history now, newly elected Howard County Sheriff Marcus Harris. And in that clip, just to remind you, it was of you stating why you became a sheriff, why you ran.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So, are you happy now that you ran?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm extremely happy. Especially I won, so I'm extremely happy.
Winning is always a good thing,
it's
guys.
It's always a good thing. I hate to lose, so.
Who does? If you're ever going to be good at anything, you got to only go for that first place.
That's it.
Do you remember who's second?
Yes.
Well, you, because it was recent. But I'm just saying, in anything. Who was second place? I don't know. I don't ever want to be. No. Okay, so tell us about that, because you, like I stated, have made history. You are the first African-American sheriff of Howard County.
You know, it's crazy because so basically, my clip probably said that, the reason I ran, and I received a phone call from several members of the Sheriff's Department that asked me to run for the position. And I was sitting at home on the couch. I had no thoughts of becoming the next Howard County Sheriff, let alone the first African-American Sheriff of Howard County. And that wasn't even a part of the conversation.
I was about to say, would that have been more pressure for you, or you didn't even give it a thought?
No, I didn't give it a thought. When they asked me to run, I thought they were joking. And about 2 minutes into the conversation, I'm like, these guys are real. I mean, think about it. You got adults calling you basically to ask you to be their boss. Come in and be our boss. And I'm thinking,
would be weird.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
So, the first minute of the conversation, I'm like, whoa. But then as we went on with the conversation, they started really telling me why they wanted me to run and why they thought I would be a good candidate for the position. So at that point, I basically, asked them to give me a day or two so I could talk to my wife, my kids, to see what they thought, because along with that comes me sitting on radio shows, and, talking in forums, and when you're a police officer, you really don't put your family in the forefront.
I know.
Right?
Isn't that a little bit hazardous?
Yeah, I don't do it. I try to stay away from it. We've all enjoyed what's going on. That's why I wanted to talk to them before we decided to take on the challenge. And after talking, and one thing my wife said to me that was interesting when I brought it up, though, she wanted to know why I would do it, as not just because they called to ask me to run for the position, but why I would actually want to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be time consuming. It's a challenge, and
what will be your underlying motivation beyond that?
Right. So some of the problems that the guys described to me were they didn't feel like they had a voice. They didn't feel like when promotions came around they could be promoted. Or just job openings within the department, they didn't feel like they could obtain them. 2 years prior to that, The current sheriff was removed because of racial issues.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere, right? So, the gentleman that I ran against, I would never put that off on him. He was appointed by Mr. Hogan to come in and do a job. The guys just didn't feel like there were enough changes. Not that he was that same way. Like I said, I won't put that off on him, but there weren't enough changes. So for me, I felt, what they were asking me, I can go in and do that. I can get this thing straightened out. But more importantly, it would give me a platform because now I'm an elected official. So, it would give me a platform to do other things within the county.
And with a few other history makers, right?
Right. I'll say it on
sure,
my boys.
Your
No,
boys.
I'm joking. But Mr. Calvin Ball and Mr. Rich Gibson.
Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, definitely. First African American county executive. Rich Gibson, first African American state's attorney. So, and we've had a great relationship throughout this process, and I think it'll continue on.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you want to do some other things, use your platform. What kind of things?
Well, I've been in Howard County for about 23 years, and I started coaching about 11 years ago.
Coaching what sport?
All three. Well, there's more than all three, but basketball.
To us.
Yeah. Basketball, football, and baseball. So
okay.
I started coaching about 11 years ago, and you get into it. I got a son, and you get into it because you want to coach, you want to be a part of what he has going on. But for me personally, after about the first 2 years, you mature, and you realize that you can make a difference, right? So, I think it's important. Well, I'm matured, so I want to be a good role model. I realized that these kids were looking up to me. Parents were always asking advice, a lot of questions outside of just the sport.
More than what you thought was just coaching.
Just coaching, exactly. So I basically matured through the process. And so it became bigger than just coaching for me. I can't tell you how many weekends I might have had the whole team at my house, just hanging out.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, for real, right?
Right? It's like, hey, honey.
Yeah, the whole team at my house. So, I figured, like I said, my wife wanted to know, why do you want to do this? So for me personally, I said, you know what? I figured out fast, right? You have to take advantage of your opportunities that are presented. And this was one that, I felt we had, after talking to the guys and, learning the stats of Howard County, and I figured we had a chance. So I decided to throw my name in the hat. And
look how it turned out.
Here we are.
Right?
Here we are. So
what does it mean to be a sheriff? I've seen a few sheriffs in my time coming to serve me, right?
Didn't answer the door, right? Didn't answer the door.
Yeah, I have a fear of answering the door. But for crazy stuff. So what does it mean to be a sheriff, number one, and then to be like the sheriff of sheriffs?
Well, so each municipality or jurisdiction or county, if the sheriff's department may do something different. In some counties, the sheriff department is actually the police department. So they handle the calls that come out from being robbed to noise complaints, whatever you may have going on in your neighborhood, what you would consider the bad stuff, right? So in Howard County, though, we have a police department and we have the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department, we basically protect the courthouse, the circuit court building. We serve warrants. We do serve warrants. So we would knock on your door. We serve protective orders. The police will handle the domestic violence call, but then we'll serve the protective orders. We transport prisoners, and we also do landlord-tenant. So there's about 5 things we actually do in Howard County. Now in Baltimore County or PG, it may be different. Like I said, I think in Carroll County, the sheriff's department is the police department, so they handle everything. But those would be my responsibilities in Howard County.
I was looking up all of the nuances and definitions, and I realized in all of the 50 states, there's only 2 places that don't have sheriff departments.
Right.
It's like 48 that do. Guys, look it up. It gets into everything, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know it was this much. You're deputizing and what is all of that?
I'm gonna have to learn the terminology too. I'm retired police, so it's gonna be a little different for me. I'm retired police officer, so in this area normally we have the sheriffs that are employed are retired police officers.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, retired police officers.
You like it better?
Well, they get to go work on that second pension. Really, that's what it's about, right? They get to go work on that second pension. What I like to do, though, is try to make our department a little younger. Nothing against the older gentlemen on the job, but like I said, we serve warrants, for example. So there's some things I'd like to try to do with this department, tinker with it a little bit, if you'd say. But
I've never seen a real young sheriff. I mean, you're the youngest.
hey, hey, yeah.
Right.
We have some.
But-
We have some lifelong sheriffs on Howard County Department. We have guys that basically came on the job. They're still there. They're doing great. I'd like to see more of that. They're more vested. Hungry. So we'll see. It's going to be, like I said, it's something I'm going to have to learn the language. I get sworn in on Monday. So yeah.
So how do if you're a person who want to see that, or how does that work? Because I don't think I've ever watched except for the presidential.
Right. It's gonna be my first time too. I actually YouTube some people getting sworn in, so I wouldn't be caught off guard. But yeah, you just go up and you take the oath. You put that right hand up, and he says you repeat after what he says, and he asks the question, you answer him, and you're deputized.
Because one of the comments on our fan page, you guys, you can follow us on Facebook. We have a fan page at Get It Got It Good. IG as well, Tumblr, which don't even really know what Tumblr is. And what's another one? Twitter. I don't know, all of them. But one of the comments off of one of those social media accounts was asking about your swearing in. And could they watch it, or how does that work?
I don't think it's going to be
televised or something.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's open to the public. We get sworn in on Monday the 3rd at 2 p.m. So, but it's going to be, so the whole courthouse ticket, other than Rich Gibson, will be sworn in, our new state's attorney will be sworn in on the 3rd. But yeah, it's at 2 o'clock, and then I think we have another group at a different location. I think it's the Board of Ed, and then, the big man himself, Mr. Calvin Ball, gets sworn in at 7:30. And I'm not sure of his location. I know ours is at the courthouse in Ellicott City, at 2 p.m.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Are you excited? What's
I am.
first?
I am. I would. You know what? I'm normally pretty cool about things, but I'm actually a little excited. When you make, it's kind of funny. I never thought of myself making history in anything, and so, after we all won and we realized that we actually made history, and it's different. Like, it's something that no one can ever take away. There's a lot of things you do in life that people can't take away, but this
or
one
some things that you wish you could
take away. Right.
It's never good.
No, it's something that no one can ever take away from me. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get going, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years.
So then, what's first?
When I walk through the doors, the first thing I do is go in, and obviously when you're campaigning and I'm an elected official, so there are a lot of guys on the job that were probably happy with the current sheriff, right? So, and I have
some that probably aren't,
right? And well, we knew that because I got a phone call, right? But so the first thing I have to do on Tuesday is go in and go to roll call and just calm everybody down, let them know the sky's not falling. I'm not coming in to fire or demote anyone right off the bat. Let's say that. So we'll go in and get some things straight on that.
You got time to get your stuff together.
Exactly. So listen, I want to go in and get to learn the people, everybody on the job for myself, and then we'll go from there. First thing I'm gonna do is go in and learn each department thoroughly. Break it down, see if there's anything we can do differently. I know that the sheriffs have a monthly meeting, so I need to join that group so I can learn some of the things they do. But I'm gonna break each department down separately, learn it inside and out, and then basically go from there, put my stamp on it.
Figure out, how can I maneuver this and mold it to
right, not reinvent the wheel, but make it better. And just go in and be a good leader. And we have some things that we want to do as far as making it. I want to address some of those concerns and fairly to the guys who called me, and asked me to run for the position. I want to go in and try to address those concerns right off the bat. Like, boom, let's go.
Shoot. Well, on that note, let's actually take a look at something a little bit more serious. I know we cannot have law enforcement in the house without addressing some of the national issues, right? So what we're going to do right now is play a video, a police brutality video, and get some real life perspectives, especially from an African American man, right? Because majorly you guys are who are affected. And because I have sons and you have a son, we definitely want to hear more from your perspective on this national issue. So you guys take a look at this video, and then we'll come back with Marcus Harris.
That's good, please. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I guess.
The guy keeps pulling in his hours. It's probably fake, but you know what?
223 dispatch, shots fired. Subject is down. He grabbed my taser.
That boy's leg looks broke. His leg broken. Y'all dragging him like that.
Welcome back, you guys. So as you just saw, you saw the police brutality. Why can't I say that name today? I have no idea. But police brutality video, which I'm laughing. But you guys, it is a really serious issue. And I would love to get your take on the things that are going wrong between communities and law enforcement, and some of your perspectives and things that our sons should know or the community should know and things like that.
Wow. Well, I mean, listen, I have a 14-year-old, and I'm already educating him on what to do and what not to do when he's pulled over, and I'm an ex-police officer. I like to say this, though. There are a lot of great police officers.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of great police officers, but we do have some bad ones, right? So, and I think we have that in any industry. And I think that what happens is it only takes one or two or three. And then when you have this big country, you know, so it's you know, the numbers are there. They speak for themselves. So like I said, I have a son that's 14. I'm already teaching him what to do when he gets pulled over. I think there's a dictionary on it now, right?
We definitely have that discussion all the time in my house.
Right. You got to educate. You know, listen, we life's like Monopoly for me, right? So we know the rules, right? We just have to abide by them, and sometimes they're unfair, right? But we know the rules of this game. And so I've educated my son on it. You know, I was at a forum several weeks ago, and it was me, the sheriff I was running against, state's attorney, and that question came up. You know, what do you do? What can we do to fix this? And I listened to both of them talk, and it just hit me while I was sitting there because I'm retired police, and it hit me. And basically, they were talking about education and training and this and that. And I'm like, listen, this is bigger than that. This is not about education because we're very educated as police officers. We get a lot of training as police officers, right? I just think that we have bad people. And anytime someone discriminates against someone because of the color of their skin, they're just a bad person. Can we fix that? I guess. I don't know. But I just think they're bad people. I don't think all the training in the world is going to fix that person.
So it's just a matter of plucking.
It's plucking. You know, you got to hold these guys accountable when they do something wrong. And we have to be fair. We have to look at each situation. But when I see a young man get shot by sitting in his car with his girlfriend sitting next to him.
Yeah, I think we all seen that video.
We all seen that, right? That cop, he's just a bad person. It was no fear. He had nothing to be afraid of. If he's that jumpy, then he shouldn't be a police officer, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of we just basically have to weed those people out. You know, I don't see education or training fixing that. We can go to all the sensitivity training, and that's, once again, I want to say that's just my opinion. Like, you know, I'm always listening and trying to educate myself, but like I said, I was at this forum and I was listening to them talk, and for me, I just think a lot of these situations we have bad people.
Well, it's kind of like you don't know you have racism issues or that you could be a racist, but for like a woman's perspective, if you are a woman and you feel the need, white, black, and different or other, because sometimes you have racisms against your own race, if you feel the need to clutch your purse and go to the opposite side of the street, that's a clue that you may have some type of negative thoughts, right?
Definitely.
So that can be easily identifiable as a woman crossing the street. But that same type of mindset happens in cops all the time, and they don't even realize it. So just when they approach a car and they see that it's filled with African American men, young African American men, the thought process automatically triggers.
Definitely.
Right?
But we're talking about situations of taking a life, right? So
yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. So when I say that they're bad people, I'm talking about the straight out situations where, you know, you're discriminated against. You know, it's not just the nervousness that kicks in. It's straight discrimination, like being pulled over while driving while black. You know what I mean? It's just
a thing.
Yeah, it's just a thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but totally agree with what you're saying. It's unfortunate, but once again, life's like a game, right?
Yeah.
We know the rules. We have to abide by them. Like I said, I got a son who's 14. He won't drive for another 2 years. He already knows the rules. You know, when he gets pulled over, what he should do.
Or if you're in a passenger, or you're anything.
Yeah, definitely. So,
do you think it's more situations today, or do you think just because we have more access to phone cameras and things like that?
Oh, definitely, it's media. I mean, yeah, I think things. Listen, nationally, I mean, we elected our first black president. What? 8 years. Yeah, so I think things have gotten better. Like I said, and that's why I wanted to say when we started this conversation, I think we have a lot of great police officers, and I don't want to take anything away from those guys. And it takes a few to, you know what I mean? But listen, let's be real about this. Racism's here, and it's not going anywhere.
It's definitely not.
It's not going anywhere. So we have to educate our young people on how to respond and how to act. And sometimes we have to be the bigger person to come home, right? So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so listen, I think it's gotten better, but I think with media, social media, you can't get away with anything these days. Like,
that's good and bad.
That's good and bad,
yeah,
right? So you can't get away from anything. Sports, you know, being a criminal. I'd be a criminal. I mean,
oh my goodness, the world's dumbest criminals. We're gonna have to pay some of those clips for you guys one day.
So.
I'm just happy that this stuff didn't exist when I was growing up.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I think definitely social media
plays a part.
Phones, you can't get away with nothing. I don't even understand why a cop would do something bad now. Like, period.
Somebody has a phone.
Somebody got a phone, right? You're not getting away with it. So.
Actually, if we want to say we're not getting away with it, and we're talking about this issue. I'm just saying. They are getting away with it.
Yes, they are.
Which is the problem.
That's where when I said we have to hold them accountable, right? Like, you know, listen, you know, this is something I say in sports. We say in sports all the time. Film don't lie.
Yeah, right.
You can edit it, right? You can edit it, but film doesn't lie, and it's that. And I think that kind of. But we know once again we know the rules, right? We know the rules. And when I say that. You know, one thing I teach my son, I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. One thing I teach my son is this. If you are out and you're acting up and you're cutting up and you're with your buddies and they're out cutting up, and those buddies that you're with that day happen to be of a different race, right? You're probably going to get in more trouble, right? At the end of the day, I hate to say it, but it's not always going to be fair, right?
At all.
But that's why I keep going back to, we kind of know the rules. So I try to, my mother educated me on this stuff when I was a baby. So this is not new, right? So we always have to be better, right?
We do.
We have to be better.
You guys, one of the lessons I tell my own sons is you cannot get to the same spot in life as your white counterpart. Sorry guys, love you.
Yes, definitely.
Without, they can get a C, you have to get an A, and then you have to work even harder once you're in the position. I know just from personal experience, I have sons, like I said. One of my sons was hanging around, and my son's friends is the Rainbow Tribe, right? And I call it the Rainbow Tribe. I love it because it's somebody from every nationality, especially in Howard County. It's possible. And so they got pulled over. They were walking. The cops pulled over and put my son in the car because he was the only African American. and was holding him, detaining him, never called me, held him for 2 hours until his friends was basically, I'm going to record this, why you're taking him, the rest of us was with him, and so they eventually let him go. But it happens all of the time, and I don't care what part of the world you live in, it's just knowing the rules. But sometimes we get ignorant because we know the rules, but even though the rules are unfair, we want to go and say, why? It shouldn't be. I should be able to da-da-da-da. And then we get ourselves hurt. And not saying it's our fault, but sometimes we don't play the game. So why don't we get jobs? Because we look too Afrocentric, or we're too pro-black, or we're too whatever. And so once you know the rules, you can play the game, get in a position of power, right? And be able to change the game. Right. You agree?
I totally agree. Listen, at the end of the day, you know, like we said earlier, we won't take anything away from anybody else. And when we first started this conversation, first thing I said is we know the rules.
We know the
rules. And, you know, I'm proud to live in Howard County. I think Howard County, they came out and voted. We just had a flyer come out from the KKK attacking another group, not us this time, but attacking another group. And, you know, what Howard County has done is they've proven that we're not going to stand for that. You know, we're not about that. And I couldn't be prouder to live in Howard County at this time.
You know how it was created?
Howard County?
Why? Yeah.
Yeah, Rouse, right?
Yep.
Rouse created his own little world, his own little
his
universe.
Own little
you know,
melting pot.
Melting pot. And, you know, I couldn't be more proud to live in Howard County right now. I never thought about that when I was running the campaign about race or anything like that, and I don't really think that way a lot. You know, I talk about on the show about teaching my son, but I don't live my life that way.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I couldn't be more proud to live in Howard County.
I love it. You guys, if you don't know, I'm a Columbia girl. I grew up in Howard County, and so I'm told a lot of times that Howard County is a bubble. It's a beautiful bubble to live in because of the mixture of people and how we're all accepting. And of course, we are affected just like everywhere else, but it's at different levels to different being affected, right? And so don't want to take anything away from Howard County. I love you guys.
Right. No, I was going to say, I love living out.
Right?
Like I said, I couldn't be more proud to, we were just sitting around like last week talking about it and how, I mean, we just didn't win. I mean, I think I beat my opponent by like 22,000 votes. Yes. Rich, the same thing. Calvin won big. And a lot of the people on our side of the fence won big. So basically what Howard County was saying is a lot of stuff that's going on nationally and the things that are going on right now, we're not going to accept that. And, you know, we don't have a lot of issues with police in Howard County.
No, we don't.
We don't. And so I wanted to put that on the table. But once again, in life, we learn the rules early.
A little bit.
So.
Definitely. So you guys, as always, time goes fast. I told you so.
Oh my goodness.
Time goes fast. And, you know, I don't bite, so definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, hey, I told you, I'm a little bit ADD. It's okay. But speaking of which, you guys, guess what? In the spring, right, you guys are all coming back. So we're going to have you back, right? We're going to have Rich. Calvin has said yes, and we're going to have Taj.
Sabina.
Yes.
Yeah, she's great, right? Yeah,
yes.
Sabina's great.
So we're going to do a special. We'll send out more information on that. We will market that, of course. We're going to be in a really big studio and just play on how we want to get this done. Maybe we'll open it up to, like, live audiences or, I know. You're like, oh, Jesus. Or, you know, telephone questions. Would that be better?
I can handle it.
You can handle it. You'll have all your boys, right? And I'll have my girl. So I won't be alone. Anyway, definitely stay tuned for that. But thank you guys for tuning in as always. And like I always say, be an original. Because an original is always worth more than a copy. Have a great day.
Hey guys, I'm Asia Morgan, an intern at WBGR Network and a proud senior of Morgan State University. Here's a few pointers on campus and community safety. Use your eyes and stay alert. Studies show that looking a predator directly in their face causes them to be less likely to choose you as their victim because you then have the means to easily identify them. Focus on your surroundings and not your phone. And never walk alone. Walk in pairs or in groups wherever you go because we are stronger in numbers. If that's not possible, use safety services. Universities have escort services available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Take advantage when leaving late night study sessions, parties, or anything else where you will be usually traveling alone. And when using riding services like Lyft or Uber, always check to see that you're getting into the right car. If you're traveling alone, be a backseat rider, buckle up no matter what, and never forget to share the details of your trip with a friend or family member. Lastly, trust your instincts. If you feel like something is wrong, 9 times out of 10, it usually is. Don't ignore that feeling. This has been a message from the WBG.